Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about two important operations that we can perform in Numpy. First one is reshape and the second one is flatten. So reshape means it's you should have the idea by the name reshape. It means reshaping the array. I mean it creates a new shape of an array. So for this, you should have a clear idea about the shape of the array, which we have discussed in the previous video. So what is the shape of the array? Shape means the number of rows and the number of columns. In case of 2D array and in case of 1D array, it's simply the number of elements. But these major operations which we will discuss, these operations mainly include 2D arrays. So we can assume that shape shape is already implemented as number of rows and number of columns on. So the main definition of the shape we can assume like this: number of rows, comma number of columns. And first of all, we'll have to create a 2D array, and the code of the 2D array. I have inserted the code of creating the 2D array. I have simply passed a list of lists so that the 2D array is created, and if I print the array, then the array is printed, or you can say it's a matrix because 2D array means a matrix. So it's a very basic matrix with the elements 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So what's the shape of the array? Shape of the array is simply the number of rows, which is 2, and number of columns, which is 3. So the shape of the array is 2 comma 3. And if we want to print, then we can print by shape. And in previous video we have already discussed that how to print the shape of the array. For this you have to simply add one, I mean the array name, then dot, then shape. Okay, so similarly add 3 dot shape. So it's 2 comma 3 because it has 2 rows and 3 columns. Now we wanna reshape these arrays. For reshaping the array, we have a major constraint. What's the constraint? The constraint is that the number of elements must be same in case of both the arrays. And what's the number of elements with respect to the shape? With respect to shape, we can define the number of elements in a matrix as number of rows into number of columns. So for both the shapes, number of rows into number of columns, this multiplication result must be equal. So let's see this by an example. Suppose we wanna reshape this array. So for reshaping the array, first of all we will create a new array which is reshaped at 3, and then simply add 3 dot reshape, and under this reshape we'll pass the new shape. But this new shape value is not any random pair because 2 comma 3 and the multiplication is 6. So we have to give those pairs only. Multiplication of which pairs is 6. So it can be 3 comma 2, it can be 6 comma 1, it can be 1 comma 6. So if we see 3 comma 2 and if we print it, reshaped at 3, and okay, so now we can see the new array with the new shape which is 3 comma 2. So 3 rows and 2 columns. Now if we wanna change it to 1 comma 6, now is 1 comma 6 valid? Yes, obviously it's valid because from the previous shape, I mean the main shape of the array is 2 comma 3, and its multiplication value is 6. So 1 comma 6, if we multiply 1 with 6, then also the result is 6. So obviously it's a valid pair, and if we print, then you can see 1 comma 6. So it's basically a 1D array, but it's in matrix form. It's not the real 1D array, it's in matrix form because it has 1 row and 6 columns. And you can see that there are two brackets, so it's a 2D array with the shape 1 comma 6. Now what for 6 comma 1? Obviously it's also valid. So it's 6 rows with one column only. So what will happen if we input wrong pair, suppose 4 comma 2? So if we execute, then we will get an error. And you can see the error, the value error cannot reshape array of size 6 into shape 4 comma 2. Okay, so I think this concept is clear to you, and we'll reshape into 3 comma 2. Okay, now we'll come to flatten. So it's very simple as compared to reshape. Flatten means it converts a multidimensional array to 1D array. So first of all, let's copy this code because we want to work with same code. Okay, no copy is needed because at 3 is already declared. So at 3, we want to flatten the at. I mean, we want to change the dimension of the at 3 to a 1D array. So first of all, let create a new matrix which is flattened at 3, and then define at 3 dot flatten. So there is a function called flatten, and then so if we print it flattened at 3, then you will see the output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it simply converts the 2D array to a 1D array where the elements, obviously the elements are same, the number of elements same, and the elements are same. Just it changes the dimension. You can verify using NDIM property, which we have discussed in the previous video. For this, you can simply print at 3 dot ndim ndim, and now you can print flattened at 3 dot ndim. Okay, so for first case you can see it's 2, I mean it's a 2D array, and for the second case, after we have flattened the array, now the output is 1, so it's now converted to a 1D array. Okay, so I think you all have understood these concepts which are reshaping the array and flattening the array. Thank you.